Recording
Well,
is
good
on.
morning for those of you that are watching live. Good morning for everyone else. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, whenever you're watching. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining me for today's AI for Printers presentation. I'm excited to be presenting the overview of this program to you because I'm excited about AI. Just a really quick snapshot of my AI journey. Earlier this year, I decided it is time for us to look at AI and how we can use that to help with the services that we provide for printers like you. I intuitively knew that it was going to be much more than just affecting marketing, but I had no idea how big it was going to be. I got pretty excited about that. You're going to see some of that come through today. And my purpose today is to help you see what you can accomplish with just a little training in AI. That's what happened to me. I'm excited to share that experience with you. So first, a bit of housekeeping to get us going. We'll continue with everyone muted and the video off. And depending on the time available, we may have time for questions at the end. So add your questions in the chat as we go, but all questions will be held until the end. All right, we'll get going. There are 3 flagship training programs under the umbrella of AI for Work. Each one is structured as a series in which sessions build on the next, kind of like a martial arts belt system. That's why you're seeing all the colors there. We have AI Foundations, AI for Leaders, and AI for Managers. The AI Foundations training is about getting started with AI and understanding how to use AI more productively. That'll be the focus of today's presentation. You can think of this course as the Missing AI Instruction Manual. The AI for Leaders program, that's about how to manage and lead a team that is actively using AI productively. And finally, the AI for Managers program, that prepares you to manage and lead a company that is AI powered. But before we get into all that, let's just have a quick conversation about why AI. So things are moving fast in the AI world. You don't need me to tell you that. You see it happening. That's probably why you're here or watching this recording. And the first thing to understand is that employees want AI. Earlier this year, Microsoft recently released a report that shows that 75% of global knowledge workers are using AI at work. And most surprisingly, the majority of these users started using it within the last 6 months. So this is a big shift in technology adoption that's unprecedented. It's never landed as fast as that. Second, most people who are starting to use AI, especially the power users, are saying that it's helping. 91% say that it helps them save time, and that's not surprising. 93% say it helps them focus on their most important work. 92% say it helps them be more creative, and 91% say it actually helps them enjoy their work more. So people are using it, they want it, and it's helping. A third thing is that companies are hiring for it. They're hiring for this skill. They may be your competition. They're hiring specifically for AI skills. 66% of leaders say that they wouldn't hire somebody without AI skills, and 71% say they'd rather hire a less experienced candidate with AI skills than a more experienced candidate without those skills. So companies are on the lookout now for folks with that skill set. As a recent example, Intuit, they just recently cut 1,800 jobs. That was 10% of their workforce, and then immediately created 1,800 new jobs for AI-trained employees. That is happening now. And then finally, these numbers, they've gone from approximately 0 to greater than 50% in the last 12 months. And this is with AI being as bad as it's ever going to be. So these numbers are going to continue to go up and up and up, and we're going to get very close to 100%. So right now we're in the middle of this curve where AI is a tool that your employees want. It's making them more productive. And so now is the time to start thinking about how to best equip them. Let's go a little bit deeper into considering why now is the exact right time to be doing this. One reason is that for the very first time, folks are figuring out how to get real work done with AI. And AI can now get real work done better, faster, and less expensively. And you're going to see results. You're going to see 10 or 100 or even 1,000x results, improvements in team productivity. Now, right away, it's hard to believe that this can happen. That happened to me when I looked at this and said, okay, I can see 10, maybe even 100, but 1,000x, really? But what my experience has shown is that everybody that goes through this training ultimately builds the type of tools that produce these type of results. And you're going to see that progression today. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show something new that I've not shown in these before, and it kind of helps prove the point of seeing the results. And I'm going to switch screens, and I'm going to show just a little teaser here. We'll dive into the details of what this means as we go, but consider this. I'm going to pull open this tool, and I'll just talk you through it at a high level. It'll make sense as we go here. So this AI tool is going to help us craft the first draft of our AI role plan. You'll see what that is in just a moment. But right now, we're just going to give AI just a little bit of information about who you are. Most of you on this call or watching this recording, you own commercial print shops. And so we're just going to say a brief description of your current role. We're just going to say that you're the owner of a commercial printing company that helps businesses grow by providing high quality, reliable printed products and marketing services to a wide range of businesses. I lead our team, set the strategic direction, ensure the financial health of my company, and focus on attracting new clients to boost sales. That's you. You are this printer. And so we're going to see what AI can do with that, with your job description. So it's going to go ahead and create the first draft of our AI role plan. As I said before, I'll stay high level on this. So what we see coming here across the top in the gray bars, those are your areas of responsibility. We call them the competencies. And that's what the gray bars are. And then underneath those gray bars, there are 8 role responsibilities, 8 deliverables that you have within each one of those areas of competency. So this may not be exactly you. It should be pretty close, but this may not be exactly you. We can tweak that, or we'll stay at that high level. So if we were to take a look at this and say, here is my AI role plan, which ones do we want to look at? We'll just scroll down to the end here, and we'll say, which role deliverable would you like to dive deeper into seeing how AI can help? We have 8 responsibilities and 8 deliverables within each one. So we have 64 we can choose from. I'm going to just choose one of them. And let's go with, it's always fun to do sales ones. So let's go with sales prospecting reports. How can AI help with that? So we're just going to say that's the one we want to look at. Okay, AI comes back and says that's crucial for identifying new opportunities. As your assistant, I understand that this typically involves researching potential clients, evaluating lead quality, and generating reports to inform your sales strategy. And we're going to suggest that this is a spreadsheet or a document containing a list of potential clients. So how do we do that? Here's the outline for creating a sales prospect report. We'll stay high level, but we can see it has an introduction, lead research, lead qualifications, outreach strategy, sales pipeline summary. And again, that may need a little tweaking depending on exactly how you do it, but for today's purposes, we can say that that's roughly right. Let's move forward with creating a standard operating procedure for this deliverable. Would we like to do that? Yes, let's do that. So if you've ever written standard operating procedures before, you know you got to push the pencil across the paper a few times and burn a few brain cells in the process. Well, here it is. Here's our standard operating procedure for each section. What do we need to do, how to do it, and what is the expected output? Staying high level, we can just keep on going. And now we're going to take a look and say, how do we write this standard operating procedure? Let's move to the next step where AI can make this process faster. Let's have AI show us that. So we're going to explore how AI can accelerate the creation of your sales prospecting report. Here's the AI enhanced SOP. And for each one of those steps, we're breaking it down into 3 different areas. What can ChatGPT or any AI tool, what can AI do? What can a virtual assistant or any assistant that you want to delegate it to, what can they do? And what do you still need to do? So for each one of those steps, you can decide how involved do you want to be, how involved do you want AI to be. And we're looking at that for each one of those steps. For instance, if we were to develop an outreach strategy, AI could draft a personalized outreach message based on the lead's business profile and likely pain points. Or you could delegate that to a less expensive human being, a virtual assistant. You might choose to do some of that yourself. You can decide where's the balance in each one of those steps here. Staying high level, we're going to keep on and saying, if AI were to help us, what prompt would we use to do that? Well, AI can help us with those prompts. Would we like to proceed with that? Yeah, let's take a look. So if for any of those steps we decide that we want AI to help, it doesn't take much for it to start helping. AI is going to even provide its own prompts to say, here's how I can help. And these are prompts that you can just copy and paste as you're doing those steps. That's how AI can help with each one of those steps. So you can see it's already finding good ways to save you time and take some of that thinking out of your head and put it into AI's head. So those AI prompts will help you efficiently tackle each step of that report creation process. Should we move on to the time study? Let's see how much time AI helps if we allow it to help here. And today's the day AI thinks a little harder. Oh, here we go. Okay, so the time study is rolling out. And we can look at each one of those steps. We're seeing with AI, it took you 3 hours for that first defined target market. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Without AI, 3 hours. With AI, maybe only 1 hour. And if we look at this total process, we can say that without AI, 21 hours. With AI, 7.5 hours. We have found that AI is actually even conservative in its estimates of how it can help. So you can use those as ballpark. That was just one of those 64 items way back up here when we started. One of the 64 items that you might be doing as a commercial printer. So let's take that another step. Let's look at the overall time savings across all 64 of those deliverables, and let's see how AI thinks it can help if it considers all of those. So what we used to see as the gray bars across the top, that's now this list coming down the side. So on a typical 160-hour month, you potentially could save 72.5 hours, get your work done 45% faster. And that's no small potatoes here. This is real work that AI can help you with here. So let's keep going and say that if that's what it can do, what does that look like over the course of time? And this is the last part of this. We'll stay high level. Just after 1 day of using AI, today you take the first step towards transforming not just your business, but the way you work. AI starts assisting with tasks like sales prospecting and market research. After a week, you start to see some early wins. You're already seeing the impact. AI has streamlined your sales prospecting process, automating lead research and outreach, leading to more prospects in your pipeline than ever before. How about a month in? The improvements are undeniable. Productivity has doubled. How about a year? Your company has undergone a transformation. AI has optimized nearly every part of your role. And perhaps a decade in, the impact of your AI-driven strategy is clear. Your business has grown in ways you only once imagined. AI continues to evolve, alongside your business, making you not just an early adopter, but a long-term visionary. That's the high-level part of that. So that's new. Have not shown that before. I wanted to give you a little taste of how AI can help. So now back to our regularly scheduled programming. That is how we can start to make the claim that says AI, with this training, AI can demonstrate 10 or 100 or even 1,000x improvements in your productivity. So let's take a preview of the whole course, and that's what today is going to be. It's a preview of the AI Foundations course. Just a few more things before we start. One is that this is as much about psychology as it is about technology. And this is all about mentoring others through the process of becoming comfortable with AI, or what I call the human to AI powered human process. And I'll tell you some stories about others in my AI community that have taken this course. There's a story about a stay-at-home mom. She was once deathly afraid of technology, and she beat her CEO through the black belt training. There's another that's a fractional CFO. She used to give up 20 hours a month on the weekend to do month-end financial reporting. She now gets it done in 2 hours during the week. And there's an overworked manager who hires for a high turnover position and used to spend days deciding in who to interview, and she now gets to spend more time with her family. So again, this is as much about psychology as it is about technology and about making people's lives better, not about removing people from the workforce. Even in the example that I used with Intuit earlier, they didn't remove people, they just upgraded to people with AI skills. So let's do it. Let's get into the Foundations, AI Foundations preview. And what I'm going to first do is I'm going to give you a quick overview of each one of the belts, and then we're going to do some of the actual work here today. So as you're getting ready for the rest of this session, go ahead and fire up your version of ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot or Gemini, any of the base model AI tools, and have that handy if you want to follow along. If you want to catch it on the recording, that's fine too. You'll have that available as well. So to start the preview, here's a high-level summary of each one of the belts. And the white belt is all about getting comfortable with the base model tools. I'm going to show you all of the different input and output combinations that you can use with these tools. That's what we'll do today. The yellow belt, that's where we'll start to use AI to become more productive in your role. I'll walk you through 5 different tasks that you can do in order to uncover that. You saw a taste of that in the demo I did a little bit earlier. Here's the grid of 64 things that you do in your role. How can AI make it better? Then we'll talk about the orange belt. That's about using AI as your cognitive super assistant. It's basically having the world's top experts in every area of business in your pocket, on demand, 24/7. Green belt, that's where we start building AI tools to solve problems. Biggest insight that we found at this green belt level is that it's almost always faster to build the tools than it is to do the work manually even once. So I'll show every employee in your organization how to build their own role coach. That happens at the green belt level. Blue belt, we start talking about building tools that create 100x improvements in actual work processes, give you a step-by-step process you can use to accomplish that. So we start getting into workflows where we're stringing work together here. Purple belt, this is an exciting one. This is where we start to explore the future, and particularly the future of your role. And this is where we see how you can provide even more value into the future to your organization with AI. Brown belt, that's where we're going to be working through how to build and work with AI agents. This is where you start building the type of tools that create 1000x improvements. They are routinely created at this level. This is where you have AI working as a team to condense many, many, many hours of work down into perhaps just even minutes. And then finally, we're going to arrive at the black belt. That's where it's all about mentoring others through this human to AI-powered human process. You'll show that you have helped another human navigate through this process from indifference to transformation with AI. One final note before we launch into the hands-on white belt training, I want to share a quick review of the structure of each session of the program. I start with a review of the program. I give you the training for that particular belt. Then I give you some homework to do. Then I show you how to get certified. So the goal of this program is actually to get certified in these belts and make progress. That's what gets measured in the certification process, the ability to do things with AI. We're not measuring knowing things about AI. You don't need to know all of the geekiness underneath the hood. You just need to know how to do things with AI. That's what gets measured. And then finally, these are live facilitated sessions. And so you'll have the ability to ask me any of the questions because I will be the one delivering the training to your team. All right, enough of the setup. Let's do it. If you have your AI right there with you and ready to go, you can have that ready. I'll be throwing in some prompts along the way. And if you want to wait for the recording, that's fine too. So here it is. This is the compressed version of the white belt training, everything in the white belt training. So it's all about getting comfortable with the base model tools. And so for a review of the program, this is the start. We're at the start of an 8-session program. There's not much to review at this point. In later belts, we do a flyover review of the previous belts so you remember how you get to each point. And then, if we follow the agenda, we do the training. And so the very first part of the training is you'd want to make sure that you create a ChatGPT account or any of the other base model accounts. We'll assume that you have done that or will do that. You're also going to want to install the app on your phone because there are some things in the mobile technology that you just can't do with the desktop versions. And so we'll call that out as we go here too. The rest of this, we're going to start doing some of the work. We're going to look at inputs and outputs. If you give an input to ChatGPT and you expect an output, how is that going to, what does that look like? Well, we're going to start with text in and text out. This is the one that most people are familiar with. This is where people do the parlor tricks and say, tell me a knock-knock joke, and you get a knock-knock joke back. Most people start and stop here, but there is so much underneath the surface if we can just scratch off that first layer. For instance, how would you use text in and want to get text out from AI? Here are 5 potential use cases. These are certainly not all of them, not by a long shot. AI is virtually unlimited in the number of ways it can be used. But here are 5 ways to get you started. You could use text in and text out. You could use that for customer support responses. You could use AI to help craft personalized email replies to customer inquiries about print order statuses. Maybe you'll use it for market trends where you'll provide insights on the latest trends in the print industry and how to leverage them. Product descriptions. Write detailed descriptions for print products on your company website. Training manuals, customer testimonials, lots of ways you can use text in and text out. For today's purpose, I am going to give you this one. This is what we call the meta level prompt. If you only get one takeaway from today, please make it this, that anytime that you are struggling with something, go to AI, enter this prompt, and explore all of the ways AI can help you solve a particular problem. So I'm going to post this into the chat, and you can copy it out and do it with me, doing your own version of the problem that you want to solve. Just use that kind of as that template. For my version, I'm going to say this. I'm trying to help printers understand that Odyssey is a marketing-focused print MIS, and I'm struggling to convince them of the benefits of thinking about print MIS in this new way. ChatGPT, list all the ways you can help me. So I'm going to open up a new chat window, and we're just going to go ahead and do exactly that. And just like I asked it to, it's going to start listing all of the ways it can help me. Now, all is a pretty big number. So is it going to be all of the ways? No, of course not. But we're going to get a pretty good list here. We'll just let that run for a while. Here's how I can help you convince printers of the benefits of thinking about Odyssey as a marketing-focused print MIS. AI can help by crafting clear messages, creating educational content, develop a comparative analysis, leverage real-world case studies, build a demo or webinar, highlight the ROI of a marketing-centric approach, address common objections, on and on. Develop supporting collateral, leverage your book, sell more printing. That's going to come up here in a bit because, well, I'll save that one for later. Enhance training programs, refine pricing and packaging, engage your existing network. We have all kinds of information rolling out here. Here's the thing is, this is a list that's building 13 ideas right there. One of the biggest things you could do, and please tell me I'm not the only person that's ever stared at a blank screen and said, how do I move beyond this? This is about removing the blank screen to get you going, to get you onto that next step. We can keep on going here. We can say, okay, show me 10 more ideas. We can keep pushing it. We can just go as far as we want here. Or we can go deeper. For instance, let's say, help me with 12. And we can just push in a little deeper to the engage your network section. You know, I'm going to refresh. I saw earlier that there was it was slowing down just a bit, and I've had that happen to me a few times. I think my meeting software slows it down, or else it's a hint that there's another update coming around the corner. So we're just going to send that one in again. Here are some specific ways you can engage your existing network. Remember, we asked it to dive deeper into engage your existing network. And it's rolling out there with the list there. So we can keep pushing into that as much as we want. as far as it is as far as you needed to get those ideas going. That's how you can use text in and get text out. That's the meta prompt, the big takeaway from today. Hopefully not the only takeaway, so we're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on going and say what are some of the other input and outputs that you can use. What happens if we use text in and want an image in return? You could use that for branding concepts, infographic creation, social media posts where you're creating visually appealing graphics for social media marketing campaigns, marketing material development, instructional diagrams. This one comes with an asterisk. Printers, graphic arts specialists, and professionals, we need you. Do not run away yet. AI has not taken over this part of the world. You'll see that in a moment. So let's go ahead and say, what does that prompt look like? I help blank do blank, and I'm writing a book called blank. Create a book cover for me. I'll put that into the chat, so if you want to do that along with me, you can. And you can fill in the blanks. And you may remember from earlier, it referenced the book, Sell More Printing. Well, that's an example that I've used. AI has a memory if we allow it to have a memory. And so it even remembered that from before. So we're just going to keep our thread going here. I'm going to paste exactly that into our message here and say that I help commercial printers sell more printing by combining marketing and technology. And I'm writing a book called Sell More Printing. Create a book cover for me. So this is an example of how we can get an image back. For us printers and graphic arts professionals, this isn't always an image that you're going to want to use, but same as before, we're getting the ideas flowing. We're starting to look at how can we use AI to spark some ideas, and then we can push as deep as we want. There's my book, Sell More Printing. We can find a few things. It would be nice if it would spell the word printing correctly on the spine. And this one always amazes me. As smart as AI is, it still doesn't do well with text in graphics. That's that asterisk I was telling you about. Printers, graphic arts professionals, we need you. AI is not ready to take over everything yet here. So know that when we're looking at the example of text in, I'm sorry, get my slides going here. Text in and image out. Let's look at another input and output combination, and let's look at text in and getting code out. How would you use that? You could use that for data integration. You could use it to develop code to integrate customer databases with print management systems. How about website custom code if you want to add custom features to your website? Maybe file conversion tools, workflow automation, API integration, where you're doing some coding to integrate various software services used by your business. 5 of who knows how many use cases. There's an unlimited number there. So let's take a look at another way that we can get code. And I'll put this in the chat for you. And we'll go ahead and put it into our ongoing thread here and ask ChatGPT or any AI, I want to create a website for this book. Can you give me the code for it? And it will indeed roll out the code. There it comes. Now, we could take this code, we could give this to any web host and say, put this on the web servers for me. I've got a website. We didn't give it many guardrails here, so we don't know exactly what we're going to get. We can see hints of it, you know, just even by looking at the code, we can see there's the title, Sell More Printing by Dave Holton. That's the book that we were asking about. But we did not put a lot of guardrails up here. We don't know exactly what it's coming up with for the content. As we refine this, we would want to give it more context. But we have a website, just like that. I didn't even talk for maybe 20 seconds, and we've got a website. How long did it take to do a website a year ago or 3 years ago? You'd be doing a lot of work to pull that together. All right, so let's move on to give AI a text input and expect a file in return. 5 ways that you might use that. Remember, many, many ways. Here's an example of 5. You could use that to do sales reports, create automated sales reports in Excel, financial planning documents, contracts, employee handbooks, or policy documentation. All of these are ways that you could give a text to AI and expect a file back. So we're going to go back to our AI chat in progress. If you want to do this with me, you can. I'll put it in the meeting chat, and let's go back and put it into our AI chat and say, those files that you did right above us, can you turn that code into one downloadable file for me? If you remember up here, maybe we just went by it pretty quickly, but if we look back here, we actually had a few files. And so now we're saying we just want one file so I can take that to my web service, my web host, and put that into the web server for me. Just give me one downloadable file that accomplishes all that. This one takes a little while. It's crunching some data, so we'll just let it do its thinking and run its course here. I remember in the good old days, it took me at least 30 minutes to get impatient. Now I'm down to about 20 seconds to get impatient. Oh, there we go. There's our file. Well, in this case, it actually gave me two files, so that's a little bit interesting. But we have it. It's still reduced down to our files. And we could tell it I really wanted one file and push it a little harder. It would do it. Let's go back to our slides and let's say, how about voice in and text out? What does that look like if we use AI with our voice? So you could use that in a number of ways. Here are 5. Client consultations. You could record and transcribe client consultations for order specifications. Use it for training sessions, quality control reports, interview transcriptions where you're transcribing interviews with clients or staff into text documents. How about this one, a solutions generator, where you're going to verbally describe a complex problem and receive a step-by-step written solution. Well, for today, I'm going to do this one. So this is a voice one. I don't have to put this one into the chat. On the bottom is a screenshot. That is from my iPhone, and I'll pull that up here in just a quick moment here. There's 2 audio tools on the bottom. I've circled the microphone. That's the one we're going to use. We'll come up to the other one in a moment. One other thing I want to point out, and it probably isn't going to show on the screen as well, but on my phone, I opened up ChatGPT, and the exact same conversation that we had on the browser, it's all cloud-based, so that exact same conversation, it's here in my phone. So I am going to just speak this into the chat here. That's great. Give me 3 more things to consider doing for the launch of this book. So I spoke that in, and we'll let ChatGPT run with that. And now it is going ahead and it is running through that on my phone, making giving its feedback on the phone here. So we'll let that run through its course on the phone. And because it is cloud-based, because it's all one chat, no matter where we're looking at it, that's going to show up on my web browser as well. So let's see, it finished on the phone. Let's go over here and refresh. And we'll see all of that. Go back up just a little bit. There's what I said. That's great. Give me 3 more things to consider. And there are indeed 3 more things we can consider. We can push into that just like we did right away at the beginning. Say, okay, give me 3 more, give me 30 more, give me 300 more, or go deeper into this one. This is our starting point. This is where we start to unlock how far do we want to go with AI. Let's go to another one. What happens if we give ChatGPT an image and want text in return? Proofreading. This is a fun one. Proofreading. You can analyze images of printed proofs and use it to provide feedback on errors prior to production. Back when it's easy to fix errors without a lot of cost. Just give AI a quick picture and say, look at this and see if there's anything that you would suggest or anything that you catch. It's always nice to have an extra set of eyes. AI can be that set of eyes for you. You can use it for customer artwork analysis, where you're going to review customer submitted artwork, and generate text feedback on areas that could be improved. What a neat upselling opportunity. You might use AI and say, oh, saw something there, and you can go back to your clients and say, we can go with what you got. However, consider this. AI can help reveal some of those upsell opportunities. Contract review, digitize contracts and extract the text for legal reviews, handwritten notes, competitor product analysis, all ways that you can provide images and get feedback. So ours is going to be as simple as this. Explain this slide to me. Well, which slide are we going to explain? Let me move into the next slide. We're going to explain this slide, and I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Like that, and that is now on my desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that in. And all I got to do is just drag it right into the space there, nothing fancy, and just ask it to explain this slide to me. And this slide, it actually comes from one of the later belts. We use it frequently throughout the AI Foundations training, but we can get a little idea of what it's there. It's already finding information. The top section is the Envision section. The middle section, Explore. What can be delegated to a human, what can be automated with AI. Bottom section, Exploit, and the right side is their comparison. So did a pretty good job just taking a picture, a screenshot, and saying, here's what I think is going on. And in all honesty, it did a really good job of figuring out what is going on. It pretty much nailed what that slide is about. Okay, let's move on to the next one. What happens if we use the web as the input and get text in return? You could use that in a number of ways. Market research summaries, where you're gathering and summarizing market trends from industry websites. Competitor analysis, online marketing strategies, funding opportunities, identify and summarize grant and funding opportunities. How about regulatory updates? That's fun. Well, let's let AI do that one. Let's have AI provide text-based updates on new regulation or compliance requirements that they found online. Or in the case that we're going to do on this one, we're going to ask AI to research the biggest news. Drop this in our meeting chat here. Research the biggest news the past week in AI and give me a summary. And off it goes. It's going to hit the bigger world of the internet, do a little research, looking for that biggest news, and find that information for us. We'll give it a few moments to connect out to its internet buddies. You can see it's finding a few websites. Here's the biggest news. Here's the summary. Landmark AI Safety Treaty. California's divisive AI regulation bill. Generative AI copyright challenges. So there's 3 stories. You could use this to start your own This Week in AI podcast. Here's your new venture, AI podcasts. All right, how about if we give AI a file and want text in return? That's what you can use that for. Document summarization, summarize lengthy business documents for quick review, financial analysis, where you're going to have it look at your financial statements and give text-based summaries, contract reviews, customer correspondence, staff reports, where you can analyze staff performance reports. Again, these are just 5 of the potential use cases. There are so many. AI is not going to run out of ways that it can help you. So this one is pretty straightforward. We'll just say, summarize this file for me. And the file that I will use is a PDF from one of our technology partners. I'm just going to, just as I did before, we're just going to drag it up and drop it into the window. It's loading, it's ready to go. We'll say, summarize this file for me. A multi-page PDF, many pages in it, and it's going to just start looking and figure stuff out for us. Here comes the summary of the key points. We get the company overview, multi-cloud services market, and we can go as deep as we want. If we are really interested in number 1 or the core strengths, any of those, we could say, tell me more about the financial performance. We can go as deep as we want. We have that PDF. AI has already given us a very good overview of what we can expect inside. Getting close to the end here for the white belt. Let's look at what happens if we give it a voice command and want voice in return. This is a fun one. You could dream up some really neat ideas here. You could use that for sales rehearsals, practice presenting sales presentations and receive immediate verbal feedback, brainstorming, order status updates, mock negotiations. Do you want to conduct a mock negotiation to refine your verbal negotiation skills? How about interactive training, where you can use AI to provide voice-guided training sessions for your staff? A lot of ways we can do that. And you can do that whenever you are in the car at a stoplight. You can turn those moments of dead time into your in-between moments. Let AI become your on-demand university. Now, I will say that this one, I think I got too much connection stuff. This is not AI failing, but my output gets the vocal gets a little bit garbled when it goes through my microphone from my iPhone into this meeting microphone. But we're going to give it a try. That's that other icon on the bottom, circled in the red, that headphones icon. So I'm going to reload my chat over here, and I'm going to hit that headphone icon, then I'll go awkwardly silent while I read in my next request. Give me the top 10 ideas from how to win friends and influence people. Give me a short explanation of each idea and include why it would be relevant to me as a commercial printer.
Here are the top 10 ideas from How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, with explanations and how they could be relevant to you as a commercial printer. 1. Don't criticize, condemn.
So I hope you heard that through my microphone on the meeting there. It actually came through pretty clear that time, at least from what I heard. So we'll see if that came through. But we know that it was talking, so this is that same chat. Let me go ahead and refresh that, and we'll see what we got here. And I did cut it off on my phone, so that's why it stopped here. We could actually have it keep going. But there I spoke it in. It just started reading back the answers. That's how you can use voice in and get voice back out from ChatGPT. Last one on the white belt. What if we give it some code and say, give me text in return? There's some interesting use cases here. You could use that for workflow integration documentation, where you're going to provide detailed documentation for code that integrates various workflow tools used in the printing process. Error diagnosis, code reviews, security audits. How about this one? Technical translation. Translate technical jargon and code comments into plain language. Can save you a lot of time and thinking if you just use it in that way. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just take one more command here, and I am going to say analyze this code and give me improvement suggestions. Well, which code are we going to analyze? I'm going to actually analyze the code that's behind the website of one of our public demo websites, and I have that sitting underneath ready to go. I'll load that all, I'll copy and paste it, and so that is the code we're going to ask it to analyze. I'll just drop it in, and faster than I can copy and paste, it's already going to, well, I guess this time it seems I've missed the document you're referencing. Let's try it again. I'm going to paste it in. Well, we've got AI a little bit confused today. I am going to just start a new chat because sometimes that's just what we need to do. So I'm going to add that code in there, and I am going to go back and grab my prompt, which says analyze this code and give me improvement suggestions. And we'll let it take another run at it. So every once in a great while, AI will do something like what just happened. Give it a little bit of elbow room, because the amount of help it's already given us, it's worth just that little tiny restart. And you can see that it is indeed doing exactly what we asked it to do. So it says the HTML code could benefit from several improvements. You still get to be the smarter human. Perhaps some of this is in there for a reason that you've not yet revealed to AI. But the point is that it is looking at it and saying, here's some ideas you might want to consider. Here's some that you maybe haven't thought of before. You can choose to act on it or ignore it. And it's going to keep on rolling all the way through those suggestions. And then when it's done, we're going to give it one more command. Using that exact same code, we'll say, now give me a full detailed on-site SEO report based on that code. We'll let it finishing there. It looks like it's coming around the corner. And we're going to use that same code, and now we'll give it that other command, full detailed on-site SEO report. Same type of an idea. This does not replace an ongoing SEO strategy. AI can come alongside and help that, but now it's giving you suggestions. Now this is a website that has not been touched. So of course, we want to optimize the title tag and the meta description. Some very obvious changes that happen when people start to use a website. It's starting to uncover, here's how I can help. That's AI coming alongside you. All right, well, we stayed kind of high level on that. That is the compressed version of everything in the white belt session of the AI Foundations training course. So hopefully that's getting you thinking. So what productive use cases can you think of based on those combinations? Last week we went through this and I got an immediate feedback from someone that said, you just saved me 8 to 16 hours of work just off of that. So there are a lot of use cases that you can come up with on your own. So when we're doing this as the real session, that's where I would give you your homework. In this case, it would just be simply to do everything that we just did in your chat session and make a video recording of that. Complete everything that we just did on the screen, record your screen as you do, narrating what you're doing, and then we'd have you get certified. We'd ask you to send the link to that video. I'd give you the link that you can submit that. Our team would review that and say, yep, you did it. You're certified for the white belt. And then we'd finish each session with questions and answers. That's where I'm going to be right there to help you with any questions. Make sure you have everything you need to move forward so that you can use the knowledge in the white belt to move forward and apply that to what's coming in the yellow belt and all of the other belts too. Here's an example of someone that's just has been through the white belt, who's actually wrapping up the whole course now. Derek Brooks from Brandywine Printing. You can read the whole part of it there, but the big part in the bold, it's another success story. He said, what you showed me, Dave, it's already saving us time and therefore saving us money. So it's working already, just after the white belt. If you look at the 3 examples below, he said AI converted, what was it, a handwritten list, converted the handwritten list into a typed out list. That helped them. The next example, AI created a list we could copy and paste from an Excel spreadsheet. Instead of manually typing everything out, a screenshot of an Excel spreadsheet is actually what that one was. That last one is my favorite. Derek gave a PDF of a spreadsheet. So not the spreadsheet anymore, gave a PDF of the spreadsheet and asked AI to reverse engineer it back into an Excel spreadsheet with working formulas. And it did it. Didn't get it 100%, but it got him really, really close. Saved him a ton of time. That's the kind of improvements you can see immediately after taking the white belt course of this AI Foundations session. All right, we're going to pick up the pace. I want to continue with an overview of the rest of the program. We won't go into all the details like we did on the white belt, but I want to give you a taste of that and some of the work of the yellow belt, because everything we just learned at the white belt, we carry that forward and we look at the yellow belt and we say, how can we use AI so that you can be more productive in your role? How do you do your day-to-day work? How can you do it better with AI? And we look at these 5 areas. We look at your role responsibilities. And so what we're going to do, we're going to go through this one really fast. And I'm going to take a screenshot of this slide. This should look familiar, or at least some parts of it, because these are all the inputs and outputs that we just looked at. So I took my screenshot, and then we're going to drop that screenshot in, and we're going to also give it this command here. So I'm going to bring back my window here. And let's see, find where my screenshot went hiding. So we're going to ask ChatGPT, list the various ways I can use you based on this image. Give me the list in text form. And there it is. Those are all the inputs and outputs that we just looked at. Now we have it in text form. We used a white belt idea, gave it an image, give me text back. Okay, like I said, I will stay high level on this one. So if we go back here, now we're going to do another thing. We're going to say, I have a role. We'll actually do this one. I'm the sales manager of a commercial printing company. List out my 12 role responsibilities. We'll go back to our chat, drop that in there. So we're putting aside the list we just created, putting aside just for a moment and saying, now I'm the sales manager. What am I doing? Here's my 12 role responsibilities. And we're going to let that run. You can adjust that as we need to. You just have that conversation with AI, but we'll let that one run and get ready for the next prompt, which is for each one of those 10 input and output combinations, list as many creative ways I can use ChatGPT across my role responsibilities. Give me 3 options for each of those 10 input-output combinations. So 10 input and outputs, 3 options for each. We're going to get a list of 30 creative ways we can use ChatGPT. It finished our list of role responsibilities. We'll add that command in. Here are 3 creative ways you can use ChatGPT across your role responsibilities for each of those input and output combinations. So everything we just looked at in the white belt, input text, output text, how might you use ChatGPT? This is where we start pushing into those use cases beyond what we've even looked at, and you can just push in as deep as you want. And you can see a lot of neat ideas coming through here. Like this one, sales scripts and cold emails. I'm going to let that list keep running. I'm going to stay on the fast track on this one, and we're going to choose one of those options. The one that I just found was kind of fun. I like that one. And now we're going to use that and create a standard operating procedure. We're going to say exactly that. Now give me a standard operating procedure for using ChatGPT to, and then we'll just pick one of those. And I am going to pick that sales script and cold emails. Now, this is the world's worst sentence here, but ChatGPT knows how our minds work, so we're just going to go ahead and drop that in. Now, give me a standard operating procedure for using ChatGPT to sales script and cold emails. Someone else that went through this yellow belt course, he said, Dave, my whole career, I've avoided writing standard operating procedures, just didn't want to do it, and I found ways to never have to do it, and then right in front of her, the standard operating procedure just rolled out of her screen, just like this. So there it is. There's how we do it if we're using ChatGPT. And we'll let that run its course. I'm going to keep going here and just tell you about the next part, because now you'll get that standard operating procedure. That's one thing, but to actually put it into play, we actually have to do it. And so we're going to ask ChatGPT to create a roadmap for completing this over 1 month. See if it's done thinking behind here. Still going. Okay, well, we'll just let it run its course here. And let's see, I don't remember how many steps we had. We might stop it in the middle here. Oops, I went up too far. We'll let it keep running. AI is figuring out that standard operating procedure. What do we need to do at each one of those steps? Well, there it is. It figured it out. So now we'll say, that's great work. We could take the time to refine it. We're staying high level right now, but that's great work. Now, let's actually do this. Help me. Create a roadmap for completing this over 1 month. We'll have it do that. A 1 month roadmap for implementing ChatGPT for sales scripts and cold emails. Here's your 1 month, week 1. All of the different things we would do. Identify target prospects and segments. Familiarize the team with ChatGPT. Develop a workflow, on and on. Week 2. And as it's doing this, you might look at that and say, you know what? I'm going to be gone that week, and so extend it out. Or however, this is not the final product if you don't want it to be. You can have those very human-like conversations through this input, or talking it in on your phone like we did earlier, and it will go ahead and do all of that work for you. So we're going to let that run out. So a month is a long time. How do you bite that, turn that into a smaller bite? How do you chunk that down? Well, then we can also say, let's create a detailed daily plan for completing week number 1, assuming a 5-day work week. Okay, just finished with our monthly plan. So let's just focus that detailed daily plan just for week number 1. And it'll break that down into something that's just a little closer that we can actually do. So there's day 1 starting to roll out. What do we need to accomplish on day 1? It's going to say it's going to take about 2 hours to review existing customer data. And with each one of these, they're just rolling out. Same thing as before. You could even say, I don't have that much time, so I need to change this plan. I only have 4 hours a day to work on this. You could just keep on doing that as whatever makes you fit there. And then the last thing, we'll just let that finish running out. The last part is, let's take that weekly plan and just similar to what we did before, let's create a detailed implementation checklist for day number 1 only. Okay, so that's going to run out there. I'm going to actually just stop that, and it already knows what day number 1 is, so we're just going to interrupt it and just say, let's just get to day 1 only. And if you just have to have a check mark in a box, there it is. It even gave you the boxes for your checklist. And that's how we can take your daily work and implement standard operating procedures so that you're getting work done very quickly and very efficiently with AI. All right, now we're really going to pick up the pace. Now we're going to start doing the flyover reviews of the other belts in this series here. And the next one is our orange belt. That's where we start to use AI as the cognitive super assistant. That's where you get the world's top experts in every area of business on demand for you. What we do is we have a very structured approach where we use AI to help refine the problem, and we look out who has solved this before. There's all kinds of books. The internet's full of advice. Who has solved this before, so I don't have to reinvent that wheel? And then we come up with an action plan. Books have everything you need, takes too long to read them. Internet has everything you need, takes too long to go surfing every day. So we're going to refine the problem, and we're going to use something like this to say, here's the problem I'm struggling with. Ask me some clarifying questions so that you can give me the best advice, and then let's see what we want to do next. What we want to do next is look out to expert solutions, find potential solutions for my issue from books that have been published by experts that could help solve the problem, and we give some instructions on how it's going to help do that. And then we create an action plan, very similar to what we just did in the yellow belt. Now we know how to do that, so let's create that action plan, break it down into chunks that we can implement and execute. Then we move on to the green belt. Here's where you start building the tools. People get into this and say, there's no way I'm going to be building AI tools myself. Well, I'm here to tell you that everyone that takes this training becomes an AI developer. It's a process. The training provides step-by-step process. It's methodical, it's quick, and it's to the point. And at the green belt level, everyone on your team will be able to build their own role coach. And this is the big thing at this level. Said it before, I wanted to point this one out again. It's almost always faster to build the tool than it is to do the work manually just one time. Then we start taking all of that knowledge and we move forward into the blue belt. Here's where we start to build your first workflow, where you're connecting steps in a process. That's where you're going to start to see 100x improvements in actual work processes. We envision, this is that chart we took a picture. What do those steps look like from beginning to end? If I start something and take the 1, 2, 3 all the way through, all the way to an end result, what does that look like? What does that deliverable look like? Then we start to explore, well, maybe someone else should be doing some of those steps. I'm going to keep step number 9, but I'm going to push number 1 and 8 down to my assistant, and I'm going to push everything else to AI because we can automate that. And then that's how we know that we can exploit it, because now we can take a look and say, I used to do some of this, but AI is doing it now for me. And then we start to see the return on the investment. And we can do that. Like in this example, we're saying it used to be 100 hours of my time. And if I were to bill my time $150 an hour, that's $15,000, but I've pushed this to less expensive humans and AI. Now it's only a quarter of an hour of my time, and so I'm down to $5 for this project. Okay, that's a little bit of an extreme example. It's not unreasonable, but it's on the other end of the spectrum there, a 3,000x improvement. But here at this level, you're going to start to see consistent 100x improvements, maybe even 1,000x improvements. That's how I can make the ROI claim that, yes, we can indeed create these kind of tools. And now, even if you don't get a 100x improvement, are you still happy with a 10x improvement? That's still a measurable improvement. All right, by this time we've done some building, so now we get to the purple belt level. We take a building break, we do some future thinking because you're starting to free up some of your time here. Now you can start to explore the future of your role and how you can provide even more value in the future with the help of AI. This is the point where an appropriate question to ask becomes, what is the future of my role? And how do I stay just one or two steps ahead? The future is out there somewhere. I don't need to get all the way into the future. I just need to get to where the headlights on the car are. I don't need to see beyond that. I just want to stay one or two steps ahead. This is the one that it has the most mind-blowing moments. This is where you can help, where AI can help you see the future so that you can create it. Then we get into the brown belt level. That is where we start to talk about using AI agents, how to think of AI as an agent. And when we talk about AI agents, that is using AI to work as a team. There's multiple people on one AI team. And then when they're doing that work of multiple people as a team in a process, that's where we start to routinely see the 1000x improvements. As an example, for my brown belt homework, when I went through this training course, I built a budgeted hourly rate tool. It was a team, had an account manager, an operations analyst, equipment analyst, finance manager. They're all working together as a team, and they were able, I'm saying they, I'm putting air quotes on that, they were able to compress all of that work, weeks of work, down into just a few minutes. These are the 1000x improvements that can result from AI when you learn processes like this. And this is the picture of what that might look like. So before we were looking at steps in a process, now we're looking at a team working together to get even more work done. We do not have time. I'm already over time, so I'm going to just speed it up here. If you're interested in the budgeted hourly rate tool that I just mentioned, shoot me a note. My email address will be up here at the end, and I'd be happy to share that with you. Big Finish, black belt. This is where, as a reminder, that this is as much about psychology as it is about technology. This is about the process of mentoring others through the human to AI human process. What happens is you will see that you're moving through this transformation from indifference to fear, to embarrassment, to confidence, and all the way through that transformation. This happened to me too, because I went into AI thinking, yeah, that's probably something I need to be, no worries, it'll show up. And then I started to see, yeah, AI, that's something we need to be paying attention to. How is this going to affect me in my work? Well, I started doing it. I started getting results, and I was embarrassed a bit. It's like, here's my work, all the while knowing that it wasn't really me, it was AI. But I started to see that AI was helping to actually produce real work that I could use. And it gave me that confidence to actually say that here is the work that AI can help me do. And that's that transformation. And so that's what this black belt is all about. And the truth is, by the time you've reached probably no later than the brown belt, you've already completed this journey. You've already gone through that transformation. So that's where it becomes your task to create that culture of AI-powered growth. That's what happened to the homeschooling mom. She was previously deathly afraid of technology. She beat her CEO through the black belt training course. The fractional CFO, she used to give up 20 hours a month on the weekend to do month-end financial reporting. She now gets it done in just 2 hours during the week. And there's an overworked manager who hires for a high turnover position, used to spend days deciding who to interview, and now gets to spend more time with her family. And then after that foundation is set, you can even go further. And that's where you can take a look at AI for leaders, about using, managing and leading a team that is using AI productively. How about AI for managers, where you're going to manage and lead a company that is AI powered? And so that's where we can talk about what is next. Our AI program, that's going to teach you how to 10x your productivity, and then 100x, and then 1000x your productivity. Now, those productivity improvements, they're going to lead to real world improvements in your business revenue. I think you can see that, right? Let's say that instead of 1000x or even 100x, you can only translate those productivity gains into only a 10x revenue growth. Well, how much additional revenue would that be? Are we talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions? I think millions is absolutely within the grasp of something like this. So how much would millions of dollars of new revenue be worth to you? Would you pay $50,000 to get millions of dollars in return? $25,000? How about $10,000? Well, that's pretty easy math. If you knew you could invest $10,000 into your company to get millions back, it's kind of a no-brainer. You have to do it, right? Well, what I want to tell you is that normally this training, it's not $10,000, it's normally $8,000. It's even less than that to get started, because I still have a few spots open on my calendar where you can get the first 4 sessions with no obligation, with 100% money back guarantee. Get those first 4 sessions for only $3,996. So the decision here is quite simple. You learn how to use AI to drive your business to massive success, or you wait for your competitors to use AI and drive you out of business perhaps. So give that some thought. You can be like Derek there, just even after that first belt. Said, Dave, this past week we've experienced on more than one occasion some of the lessons you've taught us. It's already saving us time and therefore saving us money. So it's working already. You can have that same experience as Derek. If you want to get started, first 4 belts, $3,996 for you and your team to get trained in the first 4 belts of this program. Comes with 100% money back guarantee. Go through the white belt, go through the yellow belt, and if you say, yep, that's not quite what I was expecting, you get your money back, no questions asked. But if this is something that you would be interested in, follow that QR code. I can also grab the link that QR code goes to, and I'll drop that in the chat as well. And I do have some spots on my calendar to start new teams at this point, and I'm happy to discuss that with you and get you signed up to be that next person. So if you're ready to learn how to use AI to maximize your company's success, follow the QR code or that link as soon as we're done here. Grab a spot on my calendar for a call to schedule training for you and your team. I'm excited about AI. I hope that excitement is rubbing off on you today too, and that you see the potential for it. Thank you for joining me today to learn about AI for printers.